Is it ever appropriate for a president to take home with them classified and top secret documents?
Depending on the circumstance. For example, I have in my home. Go get him!
Dumbass.
Yeah, what's in it is 8 more years of Donald Trump will change America in a fundamental way.
That was that manager dude from Burger World?
Hi folks, thanks for tuning in to Hashtag Go Right with Peter Boykin, part of the Go Right News Network. Today we have 2 articles to talk about: Follow the Biden's Money Trail and the World Economic Forum Conspiracies Go Mainstream. We also have a lot of viral videos to go over as well. We hope you enjoy. And just a reminder that if you'd like to support the podcast, you can go to gorightnews.com, hit donate. You can donate directly through the website. You can also go to paypal.me/MAGAFirstNews or on the Cash App, $ Peter Boykin and the number 1. And you can also sign up for our newsletter. God bless everybody. Let's go right.
We'll be right back with this story from Go Right News. You can follow us on gorightnews.com for more information.
Hi, fellow patriots. This is Peter Boykin from Hashtag Go Right. Share this right now. Time to go right.
Then at least speak English.
We can't rebuild our economy and meet this climate crisis.
All right, my son. I could have had it away with his cracking Judy, my old China.
This is insane. Are you telling pork pies in a bag of tripe? Because if you are feeling quickly, why not just have a J. Arthur?
That in fact believes in free and in open.
What, Billy, no, mates?
I mean, no, but I mean, think of, I mean, it's not about, I know.
Do right, youth.
Don't you?
Every voter registration physician in the States. This is a nightmare.
Do you remember the Crimbo Din Din
They move everything out, move something.
we had with the grotty Scotch bin?
Oh, the one that was all 6s and 7s.
Yeah,
I get up in the morning and look at Jill and say, where the hell are we?
yeah, she was a trouble and strife, but the Morris dancer lived up the apples and pears.
I think I'm going to try very much hard to, it is, and by the way, there's places where.
Welcome to the world, Joe. You having a good time, Joe? Bernice! That's good. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, she was the barrister that became a Bobby in a lorry.
I'll lead an effective strategy to mobilize true international effort to pressure.
And they get rid of the Gatling gun in the bottom of St. Regis.
I propose, and I'm going to digress slightly. We're in a situation.
Tea kettle, yes.
And then she shat on a turtle.
I want to be clear. I'm not going nuts.
Why the hell is this just coming up now? Well, I mean, I've never voted.
Did I hear a laugh over there?
I haven't laughed that hard since I was a little girl, thank you.
Well, this whole thing is complete bullshit. I mean, you ask me, we gotta fight it.
Jonathan Turley says lawyers are going through classified documents doesn't make sense. Quote, none of this makes sense. The idea we sent in lawyers without clearances and told them to look but don't read is not a standard you will find in any security protocol. How do you look and not read? I mean, come on now.
Joining us for more on all this, Jonathan Turley, a constitutional law attorney, a Fox News contributor, and someone who's got questions himself. So what about these lawyers that are going through, but they don't have a security clearance, and then they stop, and then they start again? What do you make of it?
Well, Dana, none of this makes sense. I mean, this idea that we sent in lawyers without clearances and told them, look but don't read, is not a standard you'll find in any security protocol. You know, I've spent years working in cases in SCIFs. I'm not allowed to bring someone into a SCIF and just say, just don't look at the table or look at any documents. I mean, that's not how this is done. The problem here is really what happened after November 2nd. Even if we assume that the White House did not know that there was potentially classified information or documents in the Penn Biden office. They clearly knew that after November 2nd. And yet we're hearing that until quite recently, they were still using uncleared counsel. The question is why? I mean, this is the President of the United States. He's got a large staff of security officers. He has the FBI. They all could have been used for this purpose. And I think the only answer is that they wanted that added buffer and control of using private counsel.
Retraining police is not the answer. Former D.C. homicide detective Ted Williams says retraining police is not the answer. We can agree, we can disagree. It depends.
Meanwhile, here's the president. He's making a big claim here, Ted, okay? The president talked about retraining cops in America. Watch.
We have to retrain cops as to why should you always shoot with deadly force. The fact is, if you need to use your weapon, you don't have to do that. And look, to call a fresh approach to recruit and how we recruit, how we hire, how we train, how we promote, and how we retain law enforcement.
That was from his speech yesterday during his appearance on Martin Luther King Day. Here are the facts. 331 officers shot in the line of duty in 2022. 64 cops were killed in 2022. We need retraining, Ted?
You know, it's sad that we seem to put everything in a box for retraining. What we have to look out for out here are law enforcement officers. As you said, 331 police officers shot. 64 of those officers died last year. I mean, retraining is not the answer. What we need to do is to try to find a way to bring the community along to help law enforcement. Law enforcement officers are leaving. Good men and women are leaving these police departments in droves. And citizens are being left out here very vulnerable to the criminal element. We've got to find a way to help citizens. And I'm sick and tired of retraining police officers. Yeah, there are some bad cops. Get rid of them. But we got a lot of good cops out here, and we need to help those. Mr. President, I'm asking you, not only for retraining, but try to help the good law-abiding citizens in this country to establish a rapport with law enforcement where they can get rid of some of these crooks on the streets.
Ted Williams fired up.
Joe Biden legitimately has no idea who he's singing happy birthday to. Happy birthday, dear. Watch.
But congratulations today to the honorees, including your wife, who I understand is a birthday today? Well, look, my wife has a rule in her family. When somebody's birthday, you sing happy birthday. You ready? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Valen. Happy birthday to you.
How could anyone be that irresponsible?
How anyone could be that irresponsible?
Mr. President,
Okay.
classified material next to your Corvette? What were you thinking?
People, by the way, my Corvette's in a locked garage. Okay, so it's not like you're sitting out in the street. But anyway,
Was in a locked garage.
yes, as well as my Corvette. People know I take classified documents and classified material. They discovered a small number of documents of classified markings in storage areas and file cabinets in my home and my personal library.
It is literally illegal.
Follow the Biden's money trail. Hunter Biden claims to have paid nearly $50,000 per month in rent to his father, Joe Biden. I mean, who really pays $50,000 a month? Wow.
We'll be right back with this story from Go Right News. You can follow us on GoRightNews.com for more information.
Hi, fellow patriots. This is Peter Boykin from hashtag Go Right. Share this right now. Time to go right.
To live at his Delaware estate, the same estate where Joe illegally left classified documents in his garage. Light bulbs should be going off right now, people. Let's set aside the terrifying fact that Hunter had unfettered access to our nation's top secrets while he was getting high on crack and negotiating lucrative business deals with America's enemies. Instead, let's focus on this question. Was this how Hunter funneled money from his shady business deals back to Joe? We'll examine the facts. But first, Hunter moved into the Delaware estate in 2017, shortly after his divorce from his ex-wife Kathleen Bluh. And according to files left on the infamous laptop, he continued to live there through 2019. Now, following the money, according to the 2018 background check, Hunter claimed he was paying $49,910 per month to live in Joe's estate. That's about $600,000 per year. According to Zillow, the estimated rental value is only $7,612 per month. Now, on Joe's 2017 taxes, he reported a total of $19,800 in, quote, rents received for the entire year. That's a $580,000 discrepancy. So why would Hunter pay so much money to his father per month? According to text messages from Hunter's laptop, he was giving 50% of his income to Joe, you know, the big guy. Now, one angry text to his sister read, quote, I hope you can all do what I did and pay for everything for this entire family for 30 years. It's really hard. But don't worry, unlike Pop, I won't make you give me half of your salary. Where did Hunter's, quote, salary come from? He had no formal job, but his, quote, job was to make business deals with America's enemies in China, Ukraine, and Russia. Recall that in May 2017, Hunter was closing a deal with CEFC China Energy, an energy company funded by the Chinese Communist Party. According to emails found on his laptop, Hunter was to receive 20% of the deal, with 10% held for H for the big guy. The big guy equals Joe Biden. Now, big picture. This is all speculative right now, but it reinforces why we need Republicans in the House to begin serious investigations into the Biden crime family. The source of this is the Daily Caller, the Western Journal, PJ Media, and Trending Politics. All the links to these articles are listed on this article on GoRightNews.com. Watch as Kevin McCarthy say, if you got the briefing I got from the FBI, you wouldn't have Eric Swalwell on any committee.
If you got the briefing I got from the FBI, you wouldn't have Swalwell on any committee. And you're going to tell me other Democrats couldn't fill that slot? He cannot get a security clearance in the private sector. So would you like to give him a government clearance? You asked me questions about Santos. You asked the questions about Swalwell. Not only was he getting a clearance, he was inside an intel committee. He had more information than the majority of all the members. Did you ever raise that issue? No, but you should have. You're going to tell me there's 200 other Democrats that couldn't fill that slot, but they kept him on it? The only way that they even knew it came forward is when they went to nominate him to the Intel Committee. And then the FBI came and told the leadership then, he's got a problem. And they kept him on. That jeopardized all of us.
Democrat Representative Moulton says George Santos' dishonesty endangers America's national security. Seth Moulton says Santos actually presents a real danger to our Congress, not just to our reputation, but to our national security if the Speaker gives him access to committee information. Personally, I don't really want to talk about George Santos, but it's getting worse every day, so I am talking about it today, and here, watch this video.
Congressman Santos is a hopefully extreme case.
Hopefully.
I hope you don't know anything about him, but he's elected.
No, it had a lot of laughs, so it's, yeah.
Probably do.
Right.
And look,
he actually presents a real danger to our Congress, not just to our reputation, but to our national security. If the Speaker gives him access to committee information, if he sits on the Armed Services Committee and gets classified briefings that he could turn around and sell to Brazil because Brazil wants to extradite him. I mean, this is a real threat that we now have sitting in Congress, and he's not being expelled because he voted for McCarthy. I think that there is a bit of learning that's coming from the at least for right now, sort of downfall of Trump, and there are definitely some people who I think are reassessing the allegiance that they've had to this type of politics. But my comments earlier made it sound like this is just a problem on the right. I think that there's some good evidence, at least in U.S. politics, that it's more of a problem on the right, but it happens on our side too. It happens on our side too.
A 17-year-old girl recounts her experience coming face-to-face with a naked man, identifies as a woman, in the woman's shower at her local YMCA. Sante YMCA allows naked men to use woman's locker room with underage girls. Not a good thing, folks. Why not have private bathrooms for people like that? Why endanger people, or the potential in danger?
Good evening, council members and residents of Santee behind me. My name is Rebecca Phillips, and I'm 17 years old. I am not a resident of Santee, but I am employed at a local restaurant, the Omelet Factory, and I work out regularly at the Santee YMCA. Just 2 weeks ago, after finishing my shift at my job, I went to the gym to swim laps. As I was showering after my workout, I saw a naked male in the women's locker room. I immediately went back into the shower, terrified, and hid behind their flimsy excuse for a curtain until he was gone. I ran into a bathroom stall to change as quickly as I could, organizing my thoughts to share with the people at the front desk. As I did so, I could only think of my 5-year-old sister, who I bring to this gym during the summer to enjoy their water slides. This is the YMCA, where hundreds of children spend their summer afternoons in child care camps. This is the YMCA where my little sister took gymnastics lessons. The locker room was supposed to be her safe haven to gossip with her friends and shower and change. When I asked the YMCA management what their policy was regarding transgenders, they confirmed that the man that I saw was indeed allowed to shower wherever he pleased. As long as you are not a red flag on Megan's Law, the California Sex Offender Registry, a grown male can shower alongside a teenage girl at your YMCA location here in Santee. I was made to feel as though I had done something wrong when I talked to people at the YMCA. Somehow, the indecent exposure of a male to a female minor was an inconvenience to them. When my dad spoke to the sheriff's office, they told him that he should never allow me to shower there ever again. The YMCA wouldn't let my father speak to the manager of the Santee branch. After waiting several days, he finally received a call from Terry Moss, who is the director of membership for San Diego County. She informed my dad that I was not in any danger at the time of the incident, that I was safe. But I ask you this. I'm assuming all of you either have a wife, a sister, daughters, or granddaughters, or are a woman yourself. Could you knowingly send an underage girl into a room where there was a naked male and say that she was not in danger, that she was safe, or more importantly, that this was right? The fact that we are now tailoring our privacy policies and bathroom laws around transgenders, ignoring the blatant threat to safety that this poses, is obscene. The safety of children, girls, is on the chopping block. And this issue is not unique to one political party. Both Democrats and Republicans whom I have shared this story with have all been equally disgusted. So I implore you all to take action. With great privilege comes great responsibility. Whether it's requiring transgenders to use the single-stall family restrooms or making them use the bathroom which aligns with their biological
Thank you. Thank you.
Sam Harris really has a real thing about this. Why is his go-to hypothetical always about killing children? Quote, Hunter literally could have had the corpses of children in his basement. I would have not cared. A clip of the Trigger Pod interview featuring Sam Harris is going viral. He says it was warranted for reporting about Hunter's business dealings to be censored.
I mean, Hunter Biden, at that point, Hunter Biden literally could have had the corpses of children in his basement. I would not have cared, right? It's like, there's nothing. First of all, it's Hunter Biden, right? It's not Joe Biden. But even if whatever scope of Joe Biden's corruption is, like if we could just go down that rabbit hole endlessly and understand that he's getting kickbacks from Hunter Biden's deals in Ukraine or wherever else, right? Or China. It is infinitesimal compared to the corruption we know Trump is involved in. It's like a firefly to the sun, right? I mean, like there's just it doesn't even stack up against Trump University, right? Trump University as a story is worse than anything that could be in Hunter Biden's laptop, in my view, right? Now that doesn't answer the people who say it's still completely unfair to not have looked at the laptop in a timely way and to have shut down the New York Post's Twitter account. Like that's just a conspiracy. That's a left-wing conspiracy to deny the presidency to Donald Trump. Absolutely, it was absolutely right. But I think it was warranted, right? And again, it's a coin toss as to whether or not
Sam, I'm sorry.
That particular piece.
I'm really sorry. I was the one that said we should move on, but you've just said
it.
something I really struggle with there, which is
the kids in the basement.
No, fuck the kids in the basement. I'm interested in democracy. You're saying you are content with a left-wing conspiracy to prevent somebody being democratically re-elected as president.
Well, no, I'm content. Well, but the thing is, it's just not left-wing, right? So Liz Cheney is not left-wing, right? Liz Cheney is doing everything in her power.
You're content with a conspiracy to prevent somebody being democratically elected.
But there's nothing conspiracy. It's not. It was a conspiracy out in the open. But it doesn't matter if it was. It doesn't matter what part's conspiracy, what part's out in the open. I mean, I think it's like if people get together and talk about what should we do about this phenomenon. If it's like if there was an asteroid hurtling toward Earth, and we got in a room together with all of our friends and had a conversation about what we could do to deflect its course, right? Is that a conspiracy?
Al Gore wants to wage war against anyone that is anti-climate. Watch this.
Enough already. Enough. And I don't want to get sidetracked onto what needs to happen, but we need to scale up climate finance, but we need desperately to scale down anti-climate finance. And we are still subsidizing the burning of fossil fuels globally at a rate 42 times larger than the subsidies for the shift toward renewables and EVs, et cetera. We need new leadership at the World Bank. We need them to scale up the leverage and vastly increase the amounts that are committed. And we need to rein in the anti-climate activities of the fossil industry.
Biden just spoke at the WEF. Biden says, if you live in one of these black neighborhoods and you have the same exact car I have in the other neighborhood, you pay more for your insurance than that side. No basis for it, none at all, other than you're black. Okay.
If you live in one of those neighborhoods and you have the same exact car I have in the other neighborhood, you pay more for your insurance than that side. No basis for it, none at all, other than you're black and I'm white.
World Economic Forum conspiracies go mainstream. The World Economic Forum, WEF, kicked off in Davos, Switzerland, with its founder calling for powerful world elites to, quote, master the future. This year's event will host over 2,700 leaders with 130 different counties or countries, including 52 heads of government, celebrities, billionaires, and other, quote, elites.
We'll be right back with this story from Go Right News. You can follow us on GoRightNews.com for more information.
Hi, fellow patriots. This is Peter Boykin from hashtag Go Right. Share this right now. Time to go right.
What is the World Economic Forum? If you ask the WEF, they tell you that they were founded by German economist Klaus Schwab in 1971 with a stated mission to, quote, improve the state of the world by engaging business, political, academic, and other leaders of society to shape global, regional, and industry agendas. Sounds like a plot for 007. It doesn't sound right. Meanwhile, there's distrust in the WEF. Unsurprisingly, there are people who believe the WEF is a cabal of power-hungry elites focused on promoting their globalist, borderless vision of the world where the rich and powerful decide how the common man and woman live their lives. This idea is usually dismissed by, quote, conspiracy theory by the media and the WEF itself. But all of the conspiracies, quote, conspiracies, originate from the annual meeting in Davos and the WEF's own website. Now let's take a look at one of them. Quote, you'll own nothing and be happy. The phrase is widely attributed to the World Economic Forum and is cited as an example of the future the WEF envisions. Owning nothing is, of course, a pillar of communism. The WEF claims this idea is a conspiracy theory, quote, culled from the internet by an anonymous anti-Semitic account on the image board 4chan, unquote. Yeah, okay. The truth is it originated from a WEF video that's still live on their Twitter page, titled 8 Predictions for the World in 2030. The phrase, you'll own nothing and be happy, is the first prediction on the list. The idea also appears in a now deleted article from the WEF's website where Ada Unken, a member of Denmark's parliament, said, welcome to 2030. I own nothing, have no privacy, and life has never been better. Other, quote, conspiracies include stated plans by Klaus Schwab to, quote, penetrate the cabinets of government and corporations around the world with WEF members in order to implement its policies from within. This is part of what it's known called the Great Reset. From conspiracy to mainstream, 2023 is certainly the year that the, quote, conspiracy theories about the WEF went mainstream. After COVID and economic disasters around the world, across the world, the tolerance for global elites is at a low. As a result, world leaders have pulled out of this year's event, including 2 of its biggest proponents, Bill Gates and George Soros. That's pretty bad. Bill Gates and George Soros pulled out. And over the weekend, Elon Musk tweeted, master the future. Doesn't sound obvious at all, does it? Now, how is WF/Davos even a thing? Are they trying to be the boss of Earth? What to expect? Next. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky will give a, quote, special address to the forum. Enough said. The source of this is public in Al Jazeera, of all places. The links of this are located in the article on GoRightNews.com. Joe Rogan calls out radio legend, quote, legend, Howard Stern for going from king to woke. Pardon the language, but hey, got a report, folks. Watch.
It's like the fucking the Westboro chick that got out of it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
She was on this. She was on fucking Howard Stern's Hollywood Squares.
Really?
It's one of my favorite things. You ever see those Hollywood Squares?
No.
It was the
Megan
funniest.
Phelps was on that?
Yeah, it was the Phelps. I think their block was gay haters. It was like them. It was like
when she got
Gilbert
out.
Gottfried,
Yeah.
Daniel Carver.
Yeah.
One block was just called the Retards. It was, I mean, it was nuts.
Yeah, that shit was wild. Look, what he did, I mean, look, people to this day, they make fun of Howard Stern because of who he is now and the way he behaves now. That guy's the man. He was the fucking pioneer. When he was the king of all media, and he was telling everybody to suck his dick, and the FCC was going after him, the government was fining him.
Yeah.
They were fining his businesses fucking millions of dollars.
Yeah.
And he was out there doing wild shit on the
He was
radio.
putting a Klansman on with fucking Young Thug or
and
not
now,
Young Thug.
and now he's woke.
Miami.
It's crazy.
Trick Daddy?
Trick Daddy.
So a security guard at the Mall of America tells a man wearing a, quote, Jesus Save shirt to either leave or take it off. I mean, can you believe it? A mall security guard telling a person wearing Jesus Saves shirt to leave it or take it off. The famous shopping mall, Mall of America, is generating some buzz, but for all the wrong reasons. After a security guard working there ordered a patron inside the mall to either remove his shirt or leave the property. Apparently, the shirt, which the security guard alleged was offensive to other patrons, was emblazoned with the phrase, Jesus Saves. That's pretty sad.
I understand that, but Jesus is associated with religion and it's offending people.
No, it's not. Actually, it's not the religion. It's about eternal life.
Okay, but it's the same thing, okay? People have been offended, and like I said, all we were asking you is to take your shirt off, you can go to Macy's or we can leave.
I didn't say anything though. I didn't speak. I didn't speak. I didn't say anything. Just went to Macy's.
Just enough you wear the shirt, you walk around the mall, just enough.
Oh, I'm going to say to that.
So, again, I'm giving you your options.
Why are you making sure we got the shirt?
You can go to Macy's and you can do your shopping, or you can leave the mall. Okay? Those are your only options right now.
Okay.
Unless you want to be placed in another. If you want to shop here, you need to take that shirt off.
What is wrong with what is the problem with my t-shirt? What is wrong with my t-shirt?
Again, sir, it is religious soliciting. There is no soliciting allowed on mall property, which is private property. Okay? So again, we've had guests come to us. Exactly.
What is
Just
wrong
take
with
it
my
off and shop, man. That's all we want.
No, I'm serious. I know the private t-shirt.
But you were
last time I was here, they told me to leave for 24 hours. I did.
Yes.
That day I was preaching. Yeah, I was preaching the gospel that day.
Yeah. You're still soliciting. And again,
I'm walking.
Yes, you're walking wearing that shirt in the form of soliciting, and we've had guests come up saying that they've been offended by your shirt.
Who'll say that?
We've had guests come up and say you've been offended. So, like this gentleman just said too, take the shirt off and you can go shopping. That's simple.
Sir,
Or
Vicky.
I will be forced to
Vicky, clear.
and I don't want to.
Watch this comedian leave Oxford University students speechless, giving them a true lesson about woke culture. Christian, I'm sure I pronounced it wrong, speaking at the Oxford Union for the motion, quote, "This House believes wokeness has gone too far." Watch this.
You will not know this, but I was supposed to be the first non-student speaker for the proposition. I've now been the fourth, which means that I now have to thank all the previous speakers for making my best points for me. And I find that the main reason now that I have left to be in support of the motion is that I am so tired of talking about woke culture. That's why it's gone too far, more than anything else. And I thank the other speakers for making the points for me, because it means I don't have to reiterate the point that no, free speech is not some right-wing reframing of whatever. It's the foundation of Western civilization. Upon this civilization is built, and the Enlightenment values that led to it. I don't have to make the point that has been made by far better people in the past, that the only way to deal with the problem of racism is to treat people on the content of their character and nothing else. And the fact that woke culture seeks to overturn that is a new form of racism that we must all oppose. It means also I will not use this opportunity to say I told you so, as someone who spent the last 5 years warning people in the West that if we continue to erode our culture, if we continue to undermine our confidence in Western values, that our enemies like Vladimir Putin will seek to capitalize on it. I will not make any of those points tonight, at all. Instead, I am not going to talk to those of you who already agree with me, which I imagine is most of you. I'm not going to talk to you because I imagine after everything you've heard tonight, you're going to vote for the proposition. I'm going to confess I will take your vote for granted. Tonight, I am the Labour Party and you are the Red Wall. Now, I want to talk to those of you who are woke and who are open to rational argument. A small minority, I accept. Because one of the tenets of wokeness is, of course, that your feelings matter more than the truth. But I believe in you. I believe there are those of you here who are woke, who are open to rational argument, so let me make one. We are told that your generation cares more than any other about one issue in particular, and that issue is climate change. We're told that many of you suffer from climate anxiety. You wish to save the planet. And for tonight, and tonight only, I will join you. I will join you in worshipping at the feet of St. Greta of climate change. Let us all accept right here, right now, that we are living through a climate emergency and our stocks of polar bears are running extremely low. I join you in this view. I truly do. Now, what are we to do about this huge problem facing humanity? What can we in Britain do? We can only do one thing. You know why? This country is responsible for 2% of global carbon emissions, which means that if Britain was to sink into the sea right now, it would make absolutely no difference to the issue of climate change. You know why? Because the future of the climate is going to be decided in Asia and in Latin America by poor people who couldn't give a shit about saving the planet. No, thank you. No, thank you. It's going to be decided by poor people in Asia and Latin America who don't care about saving the planet. You know why? Because they're poor. Because they're poor. I come from Russia, which is not a poor country, it's a middle-income country. 20% of households in Russia do not have an indoor toilet. What they have is an outdoor toilet. And I don't mean one of those nice portaloos that we get here. I don't even mean a Glastonbury portaloo. I mean a wooden shack with a hole in the ground that holds a collected fermented memory of the last 10,000 visits. How many of you are going to go home tonight and say, let's rip out our bathroom and erect a Siberian shithouse in the back garden? And if you're not, why should they? 120 million people in China do not have enough food. I don't mean that they don't get dessert. I mean they suffer from malnutrition. That means that their immune system is breaking down because they don't have enough food. You're not going to get them to stay poor. Imagine you're Xi Jinping, the leader of China. When you were 10 years old, there was a revolution, a cultural revolution in your country, and people came and they put your father in prison. Your mother had to denounce him. Your sister killed herself. And you, no longer enjoying the protection of your formerly powerful father, were sent to a village where you lived in a cave house. And here you are, decades later. You have clawed your way up the bloody and greasy pole of Chinese politics to be the undisputed supreme leader of the very Communist Party that destroyed your family. And you know that the main thing you have to do to survive and to stay in power is to deliver the one thing that the people of China want: prosperity, economic growth. Where do you think climate change ranks on Xi Jinping's list of priorities? A third of all children who live in extreme poverty in the world live in India. That means they are starving and dying of preventable disease. Now, about 15 months ago, my wife got pregnant. Not me, because we're old school. And for 9 months, we talked about what our boy would look like, what he might do when he grows up. We looked at baby scans and videos on YouTube about what the fetus looks like at 9 months and 12 months and 20 months. And eventually he was born. And he is this cute little bundle of joy. He's cuter than about 80% of puppies. Right? Now, if you said to me that I had a choice, either my son had a serious risk of starving or dying from a preventable disease in the next year, or I could press a button and he would live. He would go to school. He would bring his first girlfriend home. He'd go to university and graduate and become a woke idiot. And then he'd get a job and get married and have children and become a man. But all I have to do is press this button. And for every day of my son's life, a giant plume of CO2 is going to get released into the atmosphere. Now, you're all very young, and most of you are not parents. Let me tell you something. There is not a parent in the world who would not smash that button so hard their hand bled. You are not going to get these people to stay poor. You're not even going to get them to not want to be richer. And so, I put it to you, ladies and gentlemen, there is only one thing we can do in this country to stop climate change. And that is to make scientific and technological breakthroughs that will create the clean energy that is not only clean, but also cheap. And no, thank you. And I want everyone to get home on time today, which is not going to happen. And the only thing that wokeness has to offer in exchange is to brainwash bright young minds like you to believe that you are victims, to believe that you have no agency, to believe that what you must do to improve the world is to complain, is to protest, is to throw soup on paintings. And we on this side of the House are not on this side of the House because we do not wish to improve the world. We sit on this side of the House because we know that the way to improve the world is to work, is to create, it is to build. And the problem with woke culture is that it's trained too many young minds like yours to forget about that. Thank you very much.
Have you ever seen ball lightning before? This is kind of cool. Looks like Harry Potter done let off of an Expecto Patronum. Watch. It's kind of cool.
Listening to Go Right with Peter Boykin. Please like this post, and please subscribe and follow and share this podcast to all your social media accounts, and visit GoRightNews.com for more Go Right News with Peter Boykin. If you like what you hear, help support the podcast by donating. The link to donate is on GoRightNews.com. Thank you for your support.
Check out this news story and more on GoRightNews.com and the podcast #GoRight with Peter Boykin.
Go right and register to vote. Your vote matters, so vote. Go right and vote. #Go right. Go right. Do right. Be right. Go right. Do right. Be right. Lead right. Think right. Vote right. Vote right. Think right. Lead right. #Go right. It's time to join the Go Right movement. It is time to #Go Right for America. Join us at GoRight.us and GoRightNews.com. It is time for the Great American Revival, and it is time to #Go Right for America.
Thanks again, everybody, for listening to this, and please share it everywhere. Again, this has been #Go Right with Peter Boykin, a part of GoRightNews.com.